Now you're right. It does say face there, doesn't it? And that starts with F and all, doesn't it? Clever clogs. Oh, well done. But that's not the name of the game here, is it, man? Of course it isn't. For this series, very clearly the Japanese-only release of Fushigi no Yume no Alice on PC Engine, innit? For sure. Read it right there if you don't believe me. Smart arse. Now, according to yon internet experts and whatnot, this somewhat perfunctory cutesy platform effort is based on Alice in Wonderland. But, based on previous episodes, if you've even bothered with any of them, if my feelings aren't more than apparent regarding somewhat heretic video game developers taking proper liberties with Lewis Carroll's finest hour, then you fell down wrong rabbit hole, Tweedledum. Because I don't remember young Alice legging it round, dishing it out to docile looking, I don't know man, what are these, like turkeys? Summit? They look not like them really, do they? But I wouldn't want to hazard a guess at what they're supposed to be, if not that. So it's piss poor for starters, isn't it? I guess they do lay exploding eggs though, so, you know, yeah. Curiouser and curiouser. To be fair, what's left at game then takes a huge leap towards the original source material by having yon Alice scale up fishy ladders, where dangerous daisies yog meat tenderisers at her and that. Do you remember that bit from first book? Of course you do, stroke don't. And then it's ham-fistedly on to one of classic children's literature's most well-known plot points, as Alice rocks up to a haunted gingerbread house, where she has to duke it out good style with whatever this is, before going on to what appears to be a lazy facsimile of level 1, albeit with, truculent hedgehogs and whatnot. I'll fess up here and say I switched it off at this point, as it were doing me loafing a bit. So if you stuck with it, then, so what, man? Are you bragging or complaining?
I could play this on this loop.
I'm from classic children's literature to another here. You heard me. With our good friends, the Flintstones, who you can meet here on 8-bit Nintendo NES. You'll have a gay old time. What we have here is a fairly standard opening dialogue setup, as following some prehistoric psychedelics session, Fred and Barney come to the swift conclusion that their preschool toddler offspring have eloped. What is it, Pebbles and Bam Bam, these? Yeah, and that really does set the scene for a wacky adventure. It's quite a twisted mindset, isn't it, to jump to such conclusions? Cro-Magnon man or no, still offsets Fred, the hot-headed lunk, needlessly assaulting an array of soon-to-be extinct animals with his big swinging club as he traverses a fairly nondescript bedrock scene before clocking the naughty kiddies soon enough, only to have a river of red-hot lava pile down, putting paid to the Stone Age family reunion quick style. Flipping typical, innit it, man? And then, so on. I guess it's fair to say the platform stuff picks up a little bit from there, in terms of variety, and like most games with the salt, soon sees you clubbing a beautiful aardvark off a cliff for no discernible reason. But judge not, for according to many renowned historians, that's seemingly what it were like back in them days, wasn't it? Seemingly, I said. We've seen it all before though, haven't we, this really? And then some. So why even bother to pick this up, even if it's at that khaki car boot that you never find alt decent at? Well, if you bear in mind that a loose copy of this, no manual, no box, no note, game only like, recently fetched just short of 2,000 American dollars online. I mean, it ring good nick like, but flipping heck, Tucker. I've seen others, in pretty shoddy shape all told, fetch 400 American dollars and more for this game here that you're watching right now. Can you imagine such a thing? Can you though? Now then, according to the Oliver Tobias starring soft knuckle shuffling movie picture, loosely based on the somewhat infamous top shelf pornography quote novel unquote by Joan Collins' younger or older sister cousin Jackie Collins, according to all that, the world is full of Breakout clones, and this is no different in that respect. Video game evolution at its most linear, isn't it really? I mean, first it were bricks, then coloured bricks, then multicoloured bricks, and so on, until 1986, when Arkanoid upped the bat and ball ante by introducing laser touting bats and sticky bats and multi-balls and toaster cups, and all that, and many thought, Oliver Tobias included, that were just about it. Game over, as it were. But as the thin white duke so astutely put it, you've got to make way for the Breakout superior. So, but a year later, that's 1987, tater tots. That's where free kick comes into play, innit? Now, while one only has to examine world events in relatively recent times to fully comprehend that things like common sense and, God forbid, logic have been cast aside like skidded trow, there still remains several pertinent questions unanswered as to why, stroke how, stroke why, stroke how this came about. But while you're thinking about that, think about this. Why did the well-meaning maniacs have to make it all so darn difficult, for Frink's sake? With a field full of nihilistic numpties perpetually farting about. Like that weren't already tricky enough. You've got these two belligerent bellfruits, making life even more difficult for you. Forever conspiring to put yet another past your flailing goalkeeper bat effort, which wouldn't be too bad if they didn't clearly possess the net-hungry, ESP-driven goal-poaching partnership favoured by all top-stringing strikers down years. Dalglish and Rush, I'm thinking. Colin Sheringham, sans the off-field acrimony. Barnes and Wood, of course. Ings and Vaux. Even Shearer and Sutton, I guess. Only if there were two Shearers rather than that coattail riding sanctimonious gobshite. They don't miss these two. Or rarely. Now, like most Breakout clones, it's simply a case of keeping your half-wits about you and trying to get the ball oofed upside somewhere to do more damage of its own volition and keep it out your hair for 2 or 3 seconds. But when your 3 live-stroke goals against quickly signify the end of another brief opportunity to try and make head nor tail of just what the frig is going down here, there's no post-match analysis to try and hang some semblance of dignity on. There's not even a final whistle as such. It just mocks you. Putting the final boot in with a well-aimed G's. Can you see that? G's, it says. Ouch. I always thought it was spelled Jeez though. Did you? How about that? So that leaves us with this here F1 Race Stars on Xbox 360, which is, it's got to be said, miles better than they could have got away with, considering the legit licences and all that. Even a Formula 1 no-note numpty like me recognises 1 or 2 of the esteemed names here, so that probably means folk who dig this kind of thing the most are kipper giddy. Unless they're the sorts that take it all so seriously that they're just sat frowning at all the wacky racing this entails. F1 them though, eh? It's a decent knockabout racer, is this? Something you'll have a few multiplayer sessions with here and there, before ultimately coming to the somewhat judgmental conclusion that it's neither muckling nor mickling really. Not serious enough for some, nor silly enough for the rest of us. There appears to be a few wide-eyed extravagants out there in internet land who even claim that this gives Mario Kart a run for its money. And while they are clearly ostensibly talking out of their ill-considered racing ring pieces, like I say, if you see this out in wild for less than a £5, and you will, if you're willing to put but 5 minutes effort in at any of these here high street cashland enterprises, then do it. You lazy entitled gets. Price of a burger, but less than half the calories. Put your foot down.